Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to something a little bit different. I'm doing a classic TV show review today. I haven't done many of these in the past. I have done a classic TV review for V, the miniseries, and I've done one for the Professionals TV show. But I don't do these very often, classic TV show reviews. However, I really wanted to do a classic TV show review for Angel for a long time, as it's one of my favourite shows. And I wasn't just sure how to do it. So what I'm going to do here is go through each of the seasons, talk in brief about each of the seasons. I can't remember every single episode in each season. I probably could have done it, 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago. But I'll give you a brief outline of each season, and I'll give you a score as to what my feelings are in regards to how good I think that season was. Because from my perspective, as I've said, I thought Angel was a brilliant TV show. I was devastated when it ended, and it was one of those shows that I enjoyed watching with my wife. There's not many shows that we've actually watched together and enjoyed. We watched Breaking Bad together, we've watched Dexter together, and we watched Angel together. And those are the three that come to my mind. And Frasier we watched together. And it just, for me, if both you and your partner, and in this case my wife, can both get into the same show, it makes it much more enjoyable, I think. And that's probably one of the reasons why this was one of the first shows, because we first met and got together in about 2001, me and my wife. So it was on air at the time, so I think we ended up watching, I think I probably had the first 1 or 2 seasons on box set, so we watched them together, and then we watched them as they aired as it went on after that. And it was odd, this, really, Angel, because I wasn't really a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is where the character Angel originated from, if you didn't know your lies. He was in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer show for the first 2 seasons, I believe it was, yes. And at the end of the second season he left to get his own show, Angel, which was set in Los Angeles. And he sets up his own private investigation to help the helpless, as he calls it. And so, like I say, I wasn't a fan of Buffy. I wasn't interested in this show, and I remember it aired on Channel 4 in the UK, and I watched the first episode, City of, and I thought, I like this, because I love the vampire genre. When they get it right, it's absolutely bloody brilliant, and I think Angel is probably the strongest vampire show out there, in my opinion. So I'll move on very shortly and talk about season 1, and I shall do each season individually and give you a score. So thanks for watching, everybody. So Angel season 1 first aired certainly in the UK in the year 2000, and we had 22 episodes, and I think a really strong opening to a TV show. Absolutely brilliant opening to a TV show. The first episode was City of, and we are introduced to Angel. Is in the city of Los Angeles. He's pretty lonely, and he's spending his nights hunting down the undead and helping people. However, he is visited by Doyle, who is a demon who has visions, and he's been sent by the powers that be to guide Angel in his quest to right the wrongs that he has done in his past. So him and Doyle kind of get together. He ends up saving Cordelia, who was the one cast member from Buffy that came over to Angel, played by Charisma Carpenter. So he saves her. At the end of the episode, they decide to set up Angel Investigations, and that's like the opening of the show. So I see you get 22 episodes, some really cool episodes, and I'll talk about some briefly. There's the second episode, Lonely Heart, was a very good episode, and you're introduced to a police detective, Kate, and it's about a demon that transfers between humans when they have sex. It was a really clever episode. You get Spike that makes an appearance in one episode in the dark. I Fall to Pieces was a brilliant episode where some obsessed doctor can detach body parts, and it was really cool. Buffy makes an appearance in one episode, I Will Remember You, and then at about episode 9 onwards, episode 9 was called Hero. It takes a really dark turn this season, because a key character dies, surprisingly, and it absolutely shocks Angel and Cordelia, and it introduces Wesley, who was also from Buffy, who was one of the Watchers in Buffy, into the show as we lose somebody. And it's a really brilliant episode here, and very, very moving, and for the next couple of episodes they deal with that loss. There's an episode called Somnambulist, which Jeremy Renner makes an appearance. He plays like an old protege of Angel when he was evil, and he catches up with him in Los Angeles. You've got some really cool episodes as well. I've Got You Under My Skin, which I think was the exorcism episode. Yeah, it's where they have to perform an exorcism on a child with a brilliant twist at the end of it. 5x5, you get Faith from Buffy. It makes an appearance in a couple of episodes. She's hired by this evil law firm, Wolfram and Hart, to take out Angel, and she's a slayer, an evil slayer, and them 2 episodes are brilliantly done. And it ends with the evil law firm, Wolfram and Hart, if you like, have been promising like a real twist all the way through this season as to how they're going to get Angel, what they're going to do. And we find out right at the end of the season that they're bringing somebody back from his past to play with Angel in season 2. So really strong first season, I think. There are some weaker episodes here, I think. I thought Room with a View was a brilliant episode as well. That's where Cordelia moves into a new flat and it's haunted. I did think there were some weaker episodes. Sense and Sensitivity I didn't really like. The Bachelor Party I wasn't keen on. Expecting, She, and there was another one, I can't remember the name of it, where Kate's father, police, was involved. And we're also introduced in the episode called Warzone to Gunn, who is a street kid that Angel befriends and helps, who becomes a big part of the show going forward. So 8.5 out of 10 I'm giving season 1. It was a really, really strong season with some really strong episodes and a brilliant start. Now, season 2 of Angel, while I do think it was a very, very strong season and very hugely enjoyable, I felt it was the one season that took a little bit longer to get going, in a sense of it at the beginning of the season they didn't have a home, and after a couple of episodes that's when they found the hotel, which then that's where they moved Angel Investigations into. I thought it was a bit of a slow start to the season, even though I thought the Are You Now or Have You Ever Been, the second episode of this, was a really strong episode, and that like set up the hotel. I thought because the overreaching arc of this season was Darla from Angel's past, who was revealed at the end of season 1, and Wolfram and Hart have brought Darla on board to drive Angel evil. Now, in case you don't know, if Angel loses his soul, because he's a vampire with a soul, if he loses his soul he becomes a creature called Angelus, a vicious evil vampire whom he roamed for hundreds of years with Darla, with murderous intent, and murdered at will with both of them. They had a whale of a time, and they were inseparable. So they brought Darla back from the dead to torment Angel and turn him evil again, hopefully. So much of this beginning of this season was setting that up. He was having visions of Darla. There was flashbacks to his past, which was always brilliant. And then it doesn't really take off this season, I don't think, until I think for me it starts getting really, really good. Even though some pretty good episodes leading up to it is an episode called A Trial, and at this point Angel's trying to save Darla's soul. He's trying to help her basically, and she's accepting it at this point. And he goes on this episode called The Trial where he's trying to help her, but then it goes terribly wrong, and then ultimately she becomes Darla once again, and she goes on a murderous rampage, and it sends Angel over the edge. The rest of the season is him having to deal with that, and then it finishes hugely strong as well, because we are introduced to a new character this season called Lorne, and Fred, the iconic Fred character, and Lorne. Right at the end of the season, Lorne is like the singer at a local lounge bar, if you like, where people can go and sing karaoke, and humans and demons can all, it's like a sanctuary, and he runs that place. And the final 2 episodes of this season is them going to his other dimension for some reason. It's called Through the Looking Glass, and there's no place like Plurt's Grib. And you've got the Gruselug Mason who makes an appearance. They've got to go and save Cordelia, and they're just brilliant 2 episodes. And after the intensity of this season, it was a great way to finish the show this season, I think. So a really cool season, some really cool episodes, but like I say, I thought it took a while to get going, but once it did, after about episode 9 onwards, it was absolutely brilliant. So I'll give this one an 8 out of 10, and we shall move on to season 3. Now then, season 3 of Angel is where it starts getting serious. Absolutely brilliant season, this one. And a bit similar to the last one in a sense of it takes a little bit to get going this season. However, the episodes that they give you until it gets going are absolutely brilliant, apart from arguably the first episode of season 3, which was called Heartthrob, which was a fairly run-of-the-mill episode. After that, they just get absolutely brilliant. You know, you get that vision thing where they have to get this demon from it's just brilliant. That Old Gang of Mine is one where guns, loyalties are torn between his old gang and Angel. You get Carp Noctum, which was one of the funniest episodes. You get an old man switching bodies with Angel, and one thing that Angel does really well, when they do the comedy episodes, they're absolutely on point, they're absolutely brilliant, and they release the tension great. And this was a great episode. You get Fredless, where Fred starts coming into the fold in regards to the team. Wesley's starting to fall in love with her, and this episode focuses a lot on Fred. And then you get arguably one of the greatest Angel episodes of all time, Billy, where you get this guy who can affect men. When he touches them, it turns them violent basically, and abusive towards women. And it's just one of the most powerful episodes, I think. Truly remarkable. And then from episode 7 onwards, this season really kicks off because Darla returns, and she returns that she's pregnant with Angel's child, shockingly, which absolutely knocks everyone for a loop. Nobody believes it, they don't know what it means. All these prophecies might be coming true, and everyone's losing their heads about it. And then when it finds out that 2 vampires are having a child, everybody out there wants a piece of it. So the next few episodes are frantic, trying to figure out what is she going to give birth to, what's happening. Angel's going to be a father, what is going on. And also you have some lunatic that is chasing Angel, called Holtz, who Angel seriously wronged many years ago. He killed Holtz's family, so Holtz is on a mission to take out Angel and Darla. So he's pursuing Angel and Darla while she's pregnant with this baby, and then she gives birth, and then the rest of this season really kicks off because Angel has to protect this child. Holt is going mad, everyone's after this baby, there's betrayal happens within the team, and it's just great episode after great episode after great episode. And then by the end of this season, Angel ends up meeting a grown up miserable teenage version of his son that he's somehow got to control and figure out how to be a father. A brilliant season, brilliantly well written. Very few what I would describe as weak episodes here. They all keep you on the edge of your seat, I think, to a large degree, and you could argue that some of them are weaker than others, but for me, I enjoyed all of them. I can't really give you one, so I'm going to give season 3 a 9 out of 10. I thought it was brilliant, and from here on in it really gets serious. Season 4 of Angel is, in my opinion, the show at its absolute peak. Brilliantly woven storylines throughout this season, some really brilliant stories here, and this season actually starts with the team very fractured, because at the end of last season, Connor, Angel's son, had dunked him to the bottom of the ocean. Cordelia was rising up to be a higher power. You've got Wesley that betrayed the group, and he's gone down a very dark path elsewhere. So a very, very fractured start to the season. You don't really know how everyone's going to get back together. Fred and Gunn are now an item. So they end up getting back together slowly but surely through the first few episodes, and then they learn the bombshell is dropped that there's an apocalypse coming. The beast is on his way. He's going to lay waste to everything in his path, which he certainly does. And they've got to try everything they can to try and stop this beast. You know, the sun's getting blocked out. It's permanent night. It's not looking good. And then they also learn that there's an even worse, bigger bad on the way that someone in their group might actually know far more about than they're letting on. So you've got all this going on, and then also what you've got here is Angelus making an appearance. They've been teasing this throughout the whole seasons up to now, and Angelus is the evil version of Angel that we saw in the second season of Buffy. And it's Angel without his soul. He becomes this evil vampire called Angelus. And we get to see him in this season, and it is brilliant to watch. So they have to bring Faith back to try and help them. So they've got to deal with the apocalypse, they've got to deal with Angelus, and then they've got a new big bad that turns up that they've got to deal with, who is called Jasmine. And Jasmine is this creature who has this hypnotic effect on everybody. Everybody worships her like a god. Everybody's happy and jolly. And Angel and a few others start seeing her for exactly what she is, which is an evil being. It leads to some interesting moral decisions to be made. And then at the end of this season, Angel and the crew are literally given the keys to the castle. In regards to, in season 5, they are then told that they can run Wolfram and Hart. They've earned the right to run Wolfram and Hart, the evil law firm that has been pestering Angel all through the seasons, making his life a living hell. Well, he's now going to be the boss, which will lead us nicely to season 5. Season 5 of Angel was a really, really strong season too. And I remember at the time when I was so looking forward to this season, thinking, what on earth are they going to do when they get to Wolfram and Hart? What are they going to do? And we actually learned fairly early on that Angel is determined to use all these resources that he now has, being the CEO of Wolfram and Hart, to do good in Los Angeles. However, with this being Wolfram and Hart, hurdles are thrown at him throughout the whole season, and it's a really, really fantastic season with some great storylines. And the biggest thing of this season is we get Spike making a return, and he's here for the whole season, and he's absolutely brilliant. Initially he's almost like a ghost, and he makes Angel's life a living hell. They've got this relationship from the past. They don't get on, they've never got on, and there's a great chemistry between the two of them. And he makes a great addition to this final season, James Masters' Spike. You get loads of different storylines going on. You get Gunn, who almost sells his soul to get brains, to become like this super lawyer. You get Fred, who's in charge of the science department. You've got Wes, who's in charge of the libraries and things like that. They're all making use of all their different skill sets and stuff, but the idea is to divide and conquer, basically. There's a storyline going on here where Fred is infected by some tomb that's delivered, and she then becomes this godlike creature, Illyria, which is heartbreaking to watch that episode where she kind of dies and is reborn. It was a very brave move to do. You've got Lorne, who's in charge of all the entertainment side of it. They've all got the certain departments and areas, and each episode they're given a fresh challenge to try and figure out and sort out. And even though it's quite a fractured series in the sense of the more individual episodes for a lot of it, the overriding arc is how are they going to defeat the obvious corruption that is trying to be taken place by Wolfram and Hart here. And then right at the end of this season, there's end of the world type stuff taking place that Angel and his team have got to work together to try and stop. There are some key deaths take place. It's all very moving. It's all very upsetting, some of it. And even though the ending of season 5 and Angel, the show in general, divided some fans, I actually quite liked it. It showed them going out fighting, if you like. I thought it was a good ending. good way to end the show. So there you go. That's season 5. So I think my overall rating for the Angel TV show seasons 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. A massively entertaining show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was gutted when it was cancelled. I hope I haven't waffled too much. Like I say, how do you do a series like this justice? A series that was so brilliant and so wonderful, and all the episodes. There's no way I could, review each episode individually. I could probably do that, but I'd be at it for a couple of years. So this is like an oversight of all the seasons, and I would definitely recommend, guys, if you have never seen Angel TV show, you must seek it out and watch it, especially if you're into things like vampires and that kind of genre. I think it's the best out there for me, the best vampire show by far, in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed this classic TV show review for Angel, and once again, thank you very much for watching, everybody.